Hi everyone, it's a chilly grey afternoon on the River Thames and I've just popped down here to see if I can find any little pieces of history. The foreshore is nice and clean so we can see what's going on. I've got 2 hours before it's low tide and I've got high hopes. So let's go see what the tide is going to leave out for us today. Rather amazingly, I've just seen what looks like a stoneware bottle over here, just sitting here on the top of the mud. It's waiting. Look at this. Completely in one piece. Now that must have eroded out of the mud very recently. Wow, nice, isn't it? Markings on there that I can see. Possibly a ginger beer bottle. Now just over there I can see what looks like a really nice piece of slipware. You can see some really nice glaze there. See it? Here. Looks a little bit like Staffordshire slipware. Look at that, isn't it beautiful? Almost looks like a biscuit with nice icing on it. Now that looks as if it could be 17th century, possibly 16th, 17th century slipware. I shall, of course, consult my Thames Pottery book by Richard Hemery. From someone's kitchen a long, long time ago. Now, I want to show you something that I've just seen down here. It's really piqued my curiosity. It looks as if it could be a silver coin. Or a slither of shell. But, do you know what? I think that could be maybe a hammered coin. Pretty worn, but actually, look. Look, you can see something stamped on there. That looks like HB or something like that, HR, HB. Wow, that is so interesting. I've never seen anything like that before. And is it silver? Or is it a really worn hammered coin that somebody stamped their initials into? That is going to need further investigation. I'm going to take a photo of it and see if any of my mudlarking pals might be able to help. And actually, I've just seen here sometimes you see these round things like that and you think they're coins, and then further investigation reveals them to be pebbles, stones. These kind of half stones really are good at looking like coins. Now, oh, is there going to be a bowl? Yes, there is, look. Oh. Another one, another 1700s pipe bowl. Looks like we're in a little Georgian spot here. Well, look at this, that's just popped out of the mud. It is a very nice padlock. Look at that. I love finding padlocks because you often get a name. This one looks in pretty good condition. Look at that mud. Perfectly. Oh, it's not mud. Actually, the bottom of it is a bit broken. But still, let's rinse it off and see what we've got. It doesn't look too covered in crustiness, so it might not be too hard to reveal a name, if there is one. Let's go and give it a rinse. Let's go down there, give this a wash. Okay. Yeah, it looks like a 19th century padlock. A little bit of damage there at the bottom, but I have high hopes that we might be able to find a name on there. Yes, definitely we're going to be able to. Oh, I can see one. Look. What's that? Stratton or something? That looks like Stratton. Great, something to research when I get home. Into the bag it goes. Lovely old barge padlock. Woohoo! What stories will it unlock? There's a stone down here. Let's try this one. Let's try this one. Oh, well, there is a bit of resistance there, you know. There's a bit of resistance. Does that mean there's a bowl on the end? Could do. Right, come on. There's definitely some resistance there. Maybe we're going to be lucky this time. Maybe not. Oh, yes. There's a lovely bowl. Look at that. That's a beauty. Nice Victorian one. Here comes the tide to take a look. And of course, I'll leave the mud in there in case there's a little bottle of tobacco at the bottom. There could be. Well, pipe lovers, you might get lucky again here, you know. There's another pipe stem poking out here. Now I can tell it's an older one because the circumference is a lot bigger. It's a lot thicker. Now I have given it a little tug. There is some resistance, which indicates to me that there must be a bowl. Come on out, little bowl. Yes, there we go, look. Look at that. Coming out of its muddy little home where it's been all snug for years and years. Now this one dates to the 1700s, early 1700s, like 1740s-ish, whereas the other one, which I pulled out a moment ago, is Victorian. Here we go. It's so black, isn't it? Shiny and black. And it will of course fade until it's all that colour there, that ivory colour. Now, do you know, I've seen something really rather special down here. I think I recognise it thanks to my previous outings and lessons with Richard Hemery, who is a complete genius when it comes to pottery. So pottery isn't something that I'm brilliant at. I'm getting better at it, particularly since I now have a copy of Richard's latest book called Sherd, which is about all the pottery you can possibly find here. But look at this. Now this, I'm pretty certain I recognise this as a, I think it's called a Tig. I could be wrong, but I think it's a Tig, which was a drinking vessel. Now, in terms of age, I think it could be 16th, maybe even earlier century. So let's get it out and take a look. I'm just going to detach my trowel from the cord because it's making a horrible noise, and then I will be back. Right, that's better. So now I just have to be careful that I don't actually leave this on the foreshore and forget about it, which is something that is highly possible. I really do need to paint it a very, very bright colour. So many of you have suggested that. Anyway, back to business. This, it does look like the outline of a drinking vessel called a Tig. I hope it's called that, because if not, I'm going to look really silly later on when I get home and realise it's not. It's like a fig or a hig or something. I think it's a Tig. Let's try and get it out. It is broken, obviously, but if we're lucky, we might have the entire bottom half. Of course, I don't want to damage it. It's pretty well wedged in there. Oh, here we go. And out it comes. Now look. Ooh, it's in great condition for a broken piece of pottery. You can see where the handle would have been. Seems to be two little bits here. I can't wait to get home and look in my pottery books and see what it would have looked like in its entirety. And I wonder who the last person was that touched that. And I wonder if they ate that for dinner and drank some beer out of this. Well, you never know, do you? That's the beauty of mudlarking. It gets your imagination going. It's incredible, isn't it, that these objects, they survive for so long. Look at that. That is very, very special. It looks like a really good evening for pottery. There's lots of broken shards of pottery here, but I just saw this white bit here poking out and extracted it, and look what we've got. Now it has a air of Chinese sort of style about it, doesn't it? And it looks like some kind of porcelain. But look at that that's coming through there. We've got a great little scene. Now it's either a very angry fish or a dragon. I'm not quite sure. That is really rather nice though. Gosh, you know, when you think of how many years it's been since this has seen the light of day, well over 100 years, and that is for sure, and probably a lot more. just seen a bottle, or part of a bottle anyway, eroding out of this big mound of mud. I'm going to see what is going on underneath, and let's see how much of this bottle is in there and how old it is. This is a kind of a dump area here. There's lots and lots of bones, pipe stems, oyster shells, everything that would have been on a nice Georgian, I think, dinner table. So maybe this will be a nice Georgian bottle, or at least part of one anyway. Let's take a look. What I would love is for there to be a bottle in here which might have a seal on it. That would be my dream scenario. And there's actually a piece of glass here. I wonder if that comes from that bottle. I don't think so, actually, looking at it. Right, come on. What's going on underneath here? Is it part of a mallet bottle? Yeah, look, it's got a nice, you can tell it's got a nice big kick up there, a nice big punt. Well, it's looking hopeful so far. I wonder if there's the neck on it. Is the neck, oh, do you know what? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Well, sadly, I can confirm to you that it was not in one piece, and there is not a bottle seal on it. This is what we've got, look. A nice Georgian bottle, but funnily enough, when I was just prodding around to see if there was any more of the bottle, out popped a clay pipe. So maybe they were smoked and drunk out of by the same person, or maybe at least the same dinner party. I'm in two minds as to whether to just wash that bottle anyway and then put a nice candle in it. That might look nice. What do you think? If I get all the mud out, it could be like a nice little candle holder. Let's try it. Let's see. Maybe to go on the Christmas dinner table. There we are, look, it's completely broken, but I'm envisaging a candle in there. Let's see how it looks. I think we might get a nice bit of iridescence on this bottle, on this glass, when it dries. And of course, I can always display the clay pipe next to it. And it will sort of be reminiscent of Georgian dinners from times gone by, won't it? There we are, look. What stories they could tell if they could speak. Lovely to be here. Coming in?
Oh, thanks.
Oh, fancy seeing you here. Yes, fancy seeing you.
Unexpected honour.
Oh, it is. Well, here we all are. And hello, everybody. Thank you very much for watching my video. I hope that you're having a great week, and if you're watching this on the day it comes out, it is what day? Christmas
Day.
Eve.
Christmas Eve.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, it's Christmas
Sunday, the 24th of December. It's Christmas Eve, and that is the day, all going well, mind you, if we manage to get this video done. It's Christmas Eve. So if you're watching
Santa
this,
said to Mrs. Eve,
what did she?
"It's Christmas."
Yes, it's Christmas Eve.
Yeah, so I hope you're having a brilliant Christmas Eve, if indeed that's the day that you're watching this video.
Yes.
And firstly, before we start, what do you think of this broken bottle? It turned into a really nice candle, didn't it? And I'm really pleased with that.
That's
and I think that it could have been on a Georgian dinner table.
Wow.
People could have been sat around that at Christmas time. Somebody could have smoked that pipe on Christmas Day even. That is what I always say about Mudlarking Finds. Everything that we find just inspires the imagination.
Absolutely.
But anyway, everyone, thanks again for watching the first half of this video. And as you can see, I'm not alone today. I have with me some family. I have my mother, my lovely mum, Anita,
Hello.
and my lovely stepdad, Peter.
Hi, hello everyone.
They have come over to spend Christmas with me, so we're having a lovely time, aren't we?
We certainly are.
And they don't get away with not doing anything whilst they're here. So I have asked them to choose something from today's outing to then tell you about. So, who's going to go first? I think, Mum, you go first. What have you chosen to talk about?
Well, I have chosen this piece of pottery, which when I look at it, I think, very interesting, but what is it? Well, I believe, because Nicola tells me she found it on the banks of the River Thames, that this is a Tig mug, T-Y-G, pronounced Tig. And this is an English pottery mug, and it would have had at least 3 handles. It might have even had up to 9 handles, but it certainly had more than one handle. And this was because in Tudor times, and right up until the middle of the 17th century, people who visited taverns could go in, and a group of them, maybe 9 people or perhaps less or even more, but they would have this, it would be really tall, filled right up to the very top. It could have been hot liquid. So by having a handle, one person held it, had a swig out of it, and the next person would take it by their handle, and it would go all the way around. And also, it was quite a good idea for cleanliness, because everybody had their own section of the rim to drink from. And it was mainly found, well, almost always exclusively found in taverns or in tap rooms. And it was a very social thing. And I imagine that as Tudors celebrated Christmas absolutely over the top, they loved meat, and they ate every type of meat that was going, including swan and beef and pork. They celebrated from the 12 days of Christmas. So unlike us, who actually ate mince pies yesterday, well, a few days ago, before it was actually Christmas Day, in Tudor times it was absolutely strictly forbidden. You didn't celebrate Christmas until Christmas Day onwards for 12 days, up until the 6th of January.
Oh, what, not from Christmas Eve? It was from Christmas Day, was it?
Well, I think Christmas Eve, well, they were sort of preparing for it, getting themselves ready, because there was lots of music and dancing. They even sang carols. We think that carols is a modern thing, but it wasn't. Carols have been sung for hundreds of years, and so they would have sung carols and danced and sang. And ate an enormous amount of meat and things, including minced meat pies, which aren't like our mince pies because they had minced mutton in them, but together with fruit. So that must have been quite interesting, eating a pie like that.
Nice.
And it was a big pie. And apparently Henry V so loved minced meat pie that when it was his coronation, he actually provided everybody with minced meat pies, which was really rather nice. But also there would have been a lot of drinking. So I'm sure that these Tig mugs would have come in very useful in the taverns and the ale houses and the public houses all around London and probably all around the country. So cheers, happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas to you too.
Happy Christmas. Thank you very much, Mum. I'm really impressed with your research about this Tig. I wonder who threw it away.
I wonder.
And who last drank out of it. Or maybe which two people were the last people to drink out of it.
Yeah.
The two handles that would have been here. Yeah. Well, that's the Tig. Now, Peter, what have you chosen to talk to us about?
What I've chosen is this familiar looking object, which is, well, I think it is anyway, a ginger beer canister. I don't know what the real term would be, but anyway, probably looking at it, there doesn't seem to be any markers names on it. I've had a look at it all around, so it's probably late Victorian, something like that, and they were very, very commonly made in those days. In fact, I read somewhere that there was a potter in Bristol, of all places, who over his 10-year period made 1 million of these alone.
1 million?
Wow.
1 million.
Oh my gosh.
In his 10-year little episode of making pots.
That's a lot.
But,
That's a lot.
Yeah, but this does remind me of a story that I knew, well, from my parents when they were young. In 1928, there was a famous court case. It was called The Snail and the Ginger Beer. Well, what happened was there were two young ladies. One was called May, I can't remember her other name, but they lived in Paisley in Scotland. And it was a very hot day that day, and so they decided to go to a cafe and have a drink. And May, her name was actually May Donahue, she asked her friend, could she have a ginger beer? And so her friend ordered something for herself and a ginger beer for May. Well, it was so hot that when the ginger beer came, May took the top off, took a swig straight away. Lovely big gulp. Then, grabbing not a Tig cup, but a cup or a glass, and poured the rest of the cider, of the ginger beer into the Tig.
Why not cider? I mean,
Yes, it might have been cider.
Nice glass of cider.
Anyway, then much to her horror, looking in the glass, what did she see? But, well, it's the slimy remains of a decomposing snail.
Oh,
Which, just the look of it and thought of it, that she's taken a big swig of this already, she suddenly came over feeling very sick indeed, and almost fainted on the spot. Anyway, she had to go to hospital, and they found that she had gastroenteritis later in the day, and spent a few days recuperating in bed. And it became a court case. And she, the aid of her lawyer, sued the company who made it. But it was thrown out of court in those days. Bear in mind, this was 1928. Anyway, the lawyer had come across a similar case beforehand, so he pursued it again, and there was an appeal. That was also thrown out, but he persisted, because he thought, this is an injustice. And the defence was that, well, she hadn't actually bought the drink, so she had no claim against the company, because it was her friend who actually bought the drink, and she wasn't complaining. And it sounds bizarre now, I know. So eventually the lawyer persisted, and it was taken to the House of Lords down in London. And there, Lord Attrim, I think his name was, he presided over the case. He judged that there was a Bible rule, of course, that you must love your neighbour. And so he converted that in you must not injure your neighbour either. And so he found in favour, and the company was sued. But not only that, Lord Antrim decided that the law must be changed, and so the whole law in the British Isles was changed, that people could actually sue under such circumstances. So I'm going to have a little drink to
Have you checked
to
it for
celebrate
snails?
that. And oh no, I better not do that. I'll tip it out first to have a look. It looks pretty clear. Well, cheers everyone. Cheers.
Cheers.
So now that leaves me to go through the remaining objects on the table, and I'm going to start with this little tiny coin here, which is actually called a slap token. Now what it is, it's a very, very smooth post-medieval coin, probably from the reign of William III. And these tokens, tradesmen used to stamp their initials in them, and this is exactly what's happened here. And on this token is an H and a B, so it could be Harry Bond.
Yes. Horace Brown.
Horace Brown, exactly. And then they could be exchanged for goods and services. Now the initials were usually stamped on them late 18th to early 19th century, and there's quite a few on the portable antiquities scheme actually. So this is a really interesting find, and when I first saw it, it looked like a tiny slither of oyster, but I'm glad that the initials sort of glinted at me. And as always, I wonder whose pocket it was in and who HB was.
Yes. We never know, will we?
No,
Probably not.
we will never know. So that's that for the slap token. And of course, there's something else here with a name on, and anybody who watches my channel on a regular basis will know how much I love finding things with names. And in this case, I was very fortunate. On this padlock, which is still very, very muddy actually, is the name C. Strutton. And C. Strutton was Charles Strutton. He was a lighterman born in 1812 in Lambeth. I found a few of his adverts in the paper from around about 1860. His premises were in Princes Street in Commercial Road, and he sometimes hired out barges. And I also looked in the newspaper archives and came across a few interesting stories, including one where his poor maid, or undermaid as she was referred to, aged 16, wanted to leave because she wasn't very happy in his household. He evidently did pretty well because he had quite a lot of servants by the time he died. And he died in 1877 when he was 65 years old. So quite a lot of history that this padlock has literally unlocked. Yes.
Fascinating.
And I might be able to find out something more about it. I always like to try and find out if there's any descendants as well when I find something like this. So very, very...
Something for the new year, perhaps.
Yeah, for the new year.
Yeah.
See if I can find out anything more about Charles Strutton and see if he's got any descendants.
Yeah.
And then this piece of pottery here, which is rather lovely. It has a very angry, let's get it the right way around, angry dragon on it, I think. You'd say that was a dragon.
Oh yes, yes, very Chinese.
And I think this is Chinese export porcelain. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is, possibly also dating to the 18th century. So maybe a nice bowl for rice or vegetables. And then another piece of pottery here, and this is Staffordshire slipware, also from Georgian times, the 18th century probably. And this particular design is a marbled design.
Yes, lovely.
And it always reminds me of a rather nice chocolate and caramel kind of biscuit.
Or cookie.
Or a biscuit. And of course we've got our usual pipes. So quite a few things here that would have been on a Georgian table or even a Tudor table. Lots of things to do with food and drink.
Absolutely. Well, it's Christmas.
Almost,
isn't it?
Yep.
It is.
Yes, it's
So
almost
cheers,
Christmas.
folks. Happy Christmas to you again.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Happy Christmas to you again. And it does always amaze me how much we find that relates to food and drink on the Thames. And talking of food and drink, I want to introduce you to my sister, Jo. As it's my Christmas video, well, you know, as you can tell, I've got my Christmas sparkly top out. This always comes out for Christmas. I wanted to involve my family, so that's why Mum and Peter are here. But my sister Jo, she's coming up next week, and I wanted to include her in some way on this video. And back in the summer, she cooked for us a lovely meal on the beach, didn't she?
It was fantastic.
And I thought that you might like to come along and see what she cooked for us.
Join the picnic.
Yeah, join the picnic. I'm now going to introduce you to my beautiful sister Jo White and her gourmet alfresco beach dining experience. Jo, thank you for being here today. Looking absolutely beautiful as always.
So we're going to have sea bass in a sort of sticky glaze, and we're going to have some nice vegetables, balsamic, and some samphire with tarragon and garlic butter.
This is Rosa, my beautiful niece, and Rosa is in charge of collecting the ice cold water from the sea, in which we're going to chill our bottle of white wine. How am I supposed to get it? Ooh! Right.
Rose is going to be the sous chef. Right, so we've chopped our veg. We've got some nice courgettes, tomatoes, peppers, mushrooms. We've got a marinade of oil and vinegar and honey, Italian mixed herbs, lemon juice, garlic. So then we're just going to cover the veg, stick it on the barbie in this foil container, and get it all zhuzhy and nice. We can go with our sea bass, and we can mix it in with the couscous. Right, the marinade's going on. Cover the veg. Nice, yummy, garlicky, lemony. Yum yum. So we've got our sea bass, 4 lovely fillets. This is our marinade. So this meal's inspired by my best friend Becky, because I've shared this meal with her many times, and every time she cooks it, it gets better and better. So this is like a sticky glaze, and it's soy sauce, honey, sesame seeds, fresh ginger, red chilli, soy sauce, brown sugar, and so we're going to put the sea bass straight onto the barbecue with lots of oil, hoping it doesn't stick. So then when we've cooked it for a couple of minutes on each side, we'll put it back into the foil dish, pour over the yummy sticky glaze, pop it back on the barbecue, and hopefully this will thicken up and sort of coat the fish. And yeah, that's our main for this evening. Okay, right, I'm going to make some samphire parcels. So I'm going to get some tin foil. So a little bit of samphire in the middle, like so. And in here we've got some homemade garlic and tarragon butter, a bit on top there. Right, so we've got our parcel, and that can sit on our barbecue and steam nicely, cook our samphire. Now is just going to make the couscous. Got our flask of hot water. Couscous ready. A plug of rosé. Cheers. The couscous is sitting nicely in the bowl with the lid on. And we can mix our nice roasted veg in there when it's done. There we are. Just gonna give it a little steam. It's great, isn't it? Ooh, hopefully our samphire parcel for steaming away. Hot and steamy and buttery. Right, hi. Just gonna get our veg that's all nice and coated. Veg stirring through the couscous. Oh yeah. Hey. Smells nice. Good. Right, so our food is ready to be plated up. And we're just going to serve it up on this beautiful sunny evening.
Okay, cheers. Yes, what we do.
This is delicious, and I can definitely tell you I am going to be coming back to Joe's alfresco gourmet beach experience. Thanks so much, Joe.
See you next time.
Cheers.
That was such a brilliant meal on the beach. Thank you very much for that, Joe. Have you ever seen anybody quite so glam sitting on the beach cooking a gourmet meal? I certainly haven't.
No, me neither.
No,
It was fantastic.
Absolutely brilliant.
Roll on next summer.
Yeah, brilliant memory. So thank you very much for that, Joe, and thank you also to Rosa. And there is another member of the family who's going to participate in this video as well, but before my mum introduces her, I'd like to wish you all a very, very happy Christmas and a very blessed New Year.
We will echo that. We wish you all a very happy Christmas and a very peaceful and healthy 2024 and onwards.
Yep, I can second that as well. So happy Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, happy Christmas. And Mum, can you please introduce the next act?
Well, many years ago, when one of my wonderful treasures of grandchildren called Grace, she was only a little girl, still in her school uniform, and she came home from school and danced around in the lounge singing, "All I Want for Christmas is You." And we have persuaded her, or at least her mum, my daughter Nicola, has persuaded her to come and do another rendition now that she's actually at university, and she's much older than she was, but she's still absolute treasure and she's still so endearing. And so, Grace, over to you. Sing for us what you would like for Christmas. You don't mind about the presents under the tree. All you want for Christmas is you.
And just before I go, I will just say that, you know what, she hasn't actually done it yet, so I'm hoping she will. She'll have to now, because we've just said she's going to.
If not, we might all have to do it instead. The three of us might have to do it.
Yeah. Okay, everyone, Take care, and I'll be back very soon with more adventures in the mud. But in the meantime, happy Christmas. Bye-bye.
God bless you
Bye.
all. Bye-bye.
Over to
Bye-bye.
Grace.
I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. I don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. All I want for Christmas is you. I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. I don't care about my presents underneath the Christmas tree. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. All I want for Christmas is you. I don't want a lot for Christmas. There's just one thing I need. I don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I just want you for my own.